What women and men need in relationships, and this also works for LGBTQ plus couples too. So I was looking up some of Tony Robbins' work recently, and he had some really interesting kind of criterias for what women need and what men need in romantic relationships. So I'm basically going to go through these findings with you that were laid out by Tony Robbins, and hopefully by understanding them, they will help you with your romantic relationships. So first of all, we're going to talk about what the masculine needs. So this is obviously men or just women who consider themselves to be masculine. So for example, for me, I consider myself to be a masculine lesbian. So the reason why I think is a good idea that he actually says masculine and feminine is because and refers to men and women like that is because there can actually be, people who have masculine energies, and you could find a heterosexual man who is actually very feminine, has very feminine core needs. So we're all very different kind of people. There's no black and white in this world. We're all kind of like a blemish and a spectrum, I guess you could say, of feminine and masculine. Some people just have more masculine inside of them. Most of the time it's usually heterosexual males that are more masculine, but that is just a common rule. It's not always the case. And the same goes for femininity. Obviously straight females are usually the ones that are the most feminine, and things like that, but it's not always the case. Okay, so we can talk about what the masculine needs and basically what kind of causes the masculine to withdraw from their romantic partners and things like that. And this should help with those romantic relationships. So these are the things that the masculine kind of withdraws from in romantic relationships whenever these things happen. And they're called the 3 C's. So the first one is criticized, the second one is closed, and the third one is controlled. And this is what will cause the masculine to start perhaps falling out of love with their partner, or to start feeling or to start feeling unhappy in their relationship if their partner is, being this way. So let's talk about criticism. So obviously this kind of hurts the masculine. We don't really like to be criticized. Obviously it depends on the kind of criticism. Like most of the time, if the criticism is constructive, then that's really good. But usually if it's just literally harsh criticism, saying oh, you're stupid, what you're doing is pathetic and things like that, then that really, really does hurt the masculine. So if you are a woman watching this and you have a masculine partner, then, try not to criticize them in a way that actually hurts them. Do it in a way that builds them up instead of, doing it to hurt them. So closed as well. And I personally see this as, I'm not sure if this is the way that Tony Robbins meant it, but when you kind of withdraw from your man or something like that, when you withdraw from your masculine partner, when you become closed off and you don't open yourself up to him, and with an open heart, and you withdraw and you don't like to speak with him anymore and things like that. If you're very closed off from him and you're not being very open and loving in that kind of way. Another thing is control. So obviously masculine people like to have a little bit of freedom, like to feel like they have freedom in their life and in their romantic partnerships. Now this doesn't necessarily mean infidelity or anything like that, like romantic or that kind of freedom, but just freedom in general where they can have time to themselves to be who they are. So that means you let them go out with their guy friends occasionally, you allow them to go and dive into their hobbies, you let them have their own space and their own time. And that's really important for the masculine, not to feel controlled and restricted. So let's go into what the masculine needs. So the masculine needs praise, admiration, and freedom. So obviously, the opposite of praise is criticism. So instead of criticizing them, perhaps you can criticize them in a constructive way and also praise them to make them feel good about themselves. Praise what they do, praise their work, because if they are very masculine, then they have a mission and purpose in life that they're trying to accomplish. And if you're always saying oh, your ideas are stupid, or that business that you're starting is never going to work, that's going to really make them feel closed off from you. So instead, praise them. Even if what they're doing right now isn't working, the fact that they're trying might be something that you can praise and things like that. So try not to criticize them, try to praise them instead. And if you are to criticize them, make sure it's something that they can actually work with and it's not just a full-out criticism. So the second one is admiration. Like the masculine, really grows when, nothing feels better basically than when you see your wife admiring you. And I can understand that from a lesbian perspective. My wife, whenever she says anything that kind of suggests that she's admires me, it feels really good. Like it really does build up your confidence. And if you want to build a man's confidence and stuff like that, like do something and say something that it shows that you admire him. And there we go with the masculine also needs freedom as well. So give them the freedom to hang out with their friends. Give them the freedom to have a couple of hours to themselves in the man cave, where they can go over whatever it is that they might be struggling with, or to just have some time where they can just blow off some steam. Give them some time where they can be away from you. Obviously there needs to be some kind of negotiation here. Like you may, especially if you have kids and stuff, you might need to say to them, you can have a few hours in the morning and then I'll have a few hours in the afternoon to myself and things like that. So giving them that freedom to, don't restrict them. Make sure that they carry on seeing their friends when you enter a relationship. Make sure that they, do their own things, have their own hobbies outside of the relationship, and allow them to do those things. And that will make them really, really love you and want to stay with you. So the feminine free use. So this is what will close a woman off to her, or a feminine person off to their masculine counterpart. And the first one is to be unseen, or in other words, ignored. Another one is to not be understood. And the third one is to feel unsafe. So the first one, unseen or ignored, women really don't like it if you ignore them or don't see them. So one of the things that is quite common with femininity is if let's say they go to the hair salon and they get a new haircut, or they go and have a spa day, they're going to have a facial, or they get new makeup, anything that comes with their appearance, basically, make sure that you acknowledge that if you're someone masculine watching that. Whatever, they do, to improve themselves, to improve the way that they look and things like that, and they take care of themselves, and they've made their hair all nice, make sure that you see that and you tell them that you've seen it by saying, wow, that new outfit that you've got looks really good, or that hairstyle that you've got makes you look so beautiful. Oh, I really like what you did with your hair today. It looks amazing. Saying things like that so they feel seen. And obviously it doesn't have to be that the way that they look. It could be the things that they've done so you appreciate them. So for example, it could be like they've cooked dinner for you and you notice that, and you notice that it's your favorite dinner or something like that, and you think, oh wow, the way that you cooked that was really good. Like I really loved, the way that you seasoned it. Like it just tasted amazing. It was like a flavor explosion in my mouth, and it just tasted amazing. So seeing those things and acknowledging those things is really, really important to make that feminine woman feel seen and understood. That goes into the next one, which is to feel not understood. Like if she feels like you don't get her, then she's going to become closed off from you. So the best way that you can show that you understand a woman is actually by asking her what she means by things. So if she says something that you don't quite get, that you don't quite understand, ask her what she means. You can even say to her, what do you mean by that? Let's say she gets upset about something, and let's say she had an argument with someone at work, and she says to you, oh, I had an argument at work today and I'm really angry about it. And, if you're not sure about what happened, then you'd be like, well, what happened? Like, I want to know more about that. What did they say to you? What did they do? And then that'll, help her realize that you actually want to understand her. And when she tells you, she might say something like, well, basically what happened was they spilled coffee on my desk and they didn't even help try and clear it up for me. They just said sorry and walked away, and I had to clear up the whole mess by myself. And you can say, oh, so the reason why you're angry at them is because, they spilled coffee all over your stuff and they didn't help you. Wow, that's really inconsiderate. Is that right? And you're like, yeah, that's it. And that's how you kind of know that you're getting to the point of it. When they start going, like, yeah, that's exactly how I felt. That's exactly what happened. And it just shows that you understand, and also shows that you care as well. So another one is unsafe. And I think this one is a very deep-rooted thing, because let's be honest, let's say take the typical heterosexual relationship here and the typical feminine person, which is usually a straight woman. Women are weaker than men, physically weaker than men most of the time. Like as a general rule, when women are physically weaker than men, right? So it's very clear that, women do tend to feel unsafe when they are with men, usually, because men are just bigger, and it's something that women are just very, very consciously aware of how big men are and how strong they are, and it's very easy for a man to overpower a woman. So we have these kind of like things built inside of us that makes us a little bit wary when we are around men, because they are a lot stronger than us. They can easily overpower us. So it's a very deep-rooted thing. But if you make her feel safe, if you make her feel comfortable, if you make her feel like she can be herself, and the best way you can make a woman feel like she can be herself is if you are yourself and you behave in that way and you take the lead in that kind of way, that can really help. So what does the feminine need then? What do feminine women need? What do feminine guys need? And that is, the first one is attention and affection, appreciation and presence. So let's talk about attention and affection to begin with. This can be a bit of a tricky one because as a masculine person, it's very easy for me to get distracted by other things. And sometimes I forget to give my wife attention, basically, because I'm too busy focused on other things. But your wife, or the person that you're with, the feminine person that you're with, wants your attention. Sometimes they want it a lot of the time. Like, they need it more times than others, but usually they want your attention all the time, which can be frustrating, especially if you want to, kind of get on with other things. You may want to be watching your TV show, but sometimes it is absolutely necessary that you give your feminine partner your attention, and it's crucial that you do it. Because if they don't feel like you're giving them any attention, they are going to become closed off from you. And you can easily give them attention by just, stopping what you're doing and paying attention to them, talking to them, discussing things, asking them questions about themselves, asking questions about how they're feeling, what their thoughts are, what their opinions are. You can easily do this, and obviously noticing when they do things that are nice, like when they do something for their appearance or when they do something for you. Pay attention to those things. Give them that attention when they do those things. So another big one is appreciation. So, make sure that you do appreciate your feminine partner. Make sure that you do, say to her specifically the things that you like what she does. Like, it could be the fact that she cooks you really nice meals, or she cleans up after you. Make sure that you do give her appreciation. And just a simple thank you most of the time will suffice. But if you want to give her like a really good appreciation, get into the detail of it. Like, for example, like the one I used before, like, thank you so much for making this meal. It was so tasty. It was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It was amazing. Being specific about it can really, really help. But most of the time, a good thank you is probably enough. But, on those rare occasions when she does do something that blows your mind and it's amazing, really get into the detail about that and appreciate those things. And the last one is presence. And presence is basically when, you stop what you are doing to give her your attention and you're there in the room. You're not thinking about work. You're not thinking about, what you're going to do tomorrow. You're not thinking about, an argument you had. You are fully present with her in the conversation and you're fully focused on what she is saying. You're basically fully there, and you're not, thinking about, the football game, or you're thinking about, how you can't wait to go and play with your gamer friends later, or thinking about what's going to happen on TV tonight when your person is talking to you, when your feminine person is talking to you. You need to be there fully and engaged in that conversation. And if you just do that with just your conversations, when your partner comes up to you and speaks to you, and you give them your full presence and you're really there in the moment with them, that should really, really help. And basically that was it. Those are the things that were that I found in some of Tony Robbins' work about what the masculine needs and what the feminine needs. I hope you found it useful as much as I did, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.